Okay, comrade. The Russian Nightmare Nikita Koloff here. Tune in and listen to the Undisputed Wrestling Show. I tear your stinking head right off your body. Je to it.
This is the Undisputed Wrestling Show. We're talking to Axel F. and Rotten. And I'm going to tag in the ICW United States Champion, a.k.a. Chad Engel. What do you got for Axel Rotten?
Hey, first of all, Axel, it's a pleasure to finally talking to you, and I was just wanting to see how you're physically doing and stuff. I know some of your health issues recently, so I just wanted to check and see how you're doing.
Well, thanks, Chad. I'll tell you right now, I'm still in the rehabilitation center. I'll make this long story short. My L3, L4, and L5 have kind of like compressed together, and they're pushing on the nerve roots on my legs, so the brain and the nerves in my legs aren't really conducting too well. So I can walk with a walker, wheelchair most of the time, but I'm getting better. Inevitably, most likely, I'm going to have the surgery to repair, to take the pressure off my nerve root. But I'm putting it off as long as I can, doing physical therapy, simply because, I know after I have the procedure, I'll be stronger for my recovery. So, things are progressing well. I hope to be out of this rehab center within the next month, and then we'll take it from there with whether or not. We're gonna have to move on with surgery. It's just a matter of when it's done. For me, the sooner the better. But I just do keep progressing and getting stronger, and that's the most important thing. And once that we decide what happens physically as far as the surgery goes, then we'll move on from there. But if the surgeon tells me something I don't want to hear, I'd rather be able to walk with a walker the rest of my life than be confined to a wheelchair. So that's the status where we're at right now, man. But things are looking up; they're getting better. 7 months ago, I was confined to a bed and I couldn't even move. So now, I'm out. Sunday I actually got in a car and took a drive with my dad. So, it felt really good. Things are progressing, quite steadily. So I really appreciate you asking.
It's good to hear. And also, I've just, I don't know if you remember who I am or not. I've done a caricature of you, and I think you have that up at ProWrestlingTees.com. It's a caricature of you.
Oh yeah, of course. I absolutely, and it makes me angry that I left that envelope that had the picture that I was going to send back to you at my buddy's house in Pennsylvania, and for some reason he can't seem to find it. And if worse comes to worse, I'll drive up there and get it, because I promise you I'll send you that thing back, and I'm going to do it because it really made me angry that. I made the shirt, I did the whole thing. I said, hey, man, I promised Chad I was going to send him back this autographed copy. And I accepted it, my friend's house, Mark. I didn't think it was going to be a problem. I think for some reason he must like it and he wants to keep it. But I'm going to get a hold of it. And if not, I'm going to make another one and at least send you a copy, because I was so awesome. I really, really enjoy it. I love it, and I have a copy of it hanging on my in my wall in my bedroom, my house. I just think it's hilarious. It's funny. It's great, and I can't thank you enough.
No problem. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, it's awesome work, dude. You do great stuff. I looked through all the ones you've done, the one that caught my eye was, of course, the one you did with Red and Chaz, where you did the headbangers. And I was like, hey, who did that? That looks kind of cool, man. I really like that. And they put me in touch with you. And, then I went and looked at some of the other ones. And, you do really, really good work. And it has its own, I don't know, its own je ne sais quoi to it. It has its own stamp, its own signature that you can tell that it's yours. And that really is an awesome thing. I think you should think about putting out a picture book, of all the ones you've done, and try to sell that thing, because it's a lot of great work there, man.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that.
Axel, he does such a great job that if you go onto Facebook and go to the Undisputed Wrestling Show's page, you will see the faces of the Undisputed Wrestling Show on Mount Russellmore as our primary picture on that page. He's awesome. He does a phenomenal job. The artist known as Chad Engel. Hey, let's tag off to,
I saw that. I saw that picture. I loved it. That was tremendous.
We're going to tag off to the NWA Continental Champion as we talk to Axel Rotten. What do you got, Will?
Well, Axel, I want to go ahead and just get to some wrestling and stuff. Got to ask you, you started training guys and stuff. I'm assuming that when you started training guys and stuff, a lot of them had potential and stuff, and some of them didn't. But what was so special about Ian that when you trained him, you decided to bring him on as a partner?
Well, I mean, Ian Rotten is a very polarizing figure in the wrestling business. People have their opinion of him, but I'm going to talk to you about John Williams. That's Ian's real name. I want to talk to you about John Williams, who was the most respectful kid that ever walked up to me. And he's not a kid because he's a year older than me, but the most respectful guy that ever walked up to me and inquired about getting into this business. And he he is a student of the game. He loves this business. People bury him for things, that mistakes he has made, things that he has said, but I will tell you this. He has done, crazy blood and guts, even more crazier than he and I have ever done, and stuff that I refuse to do, by the way. But he is a very talented worker. He can go out there and go with the best of them. I've seen him have great matches with CM Punk. I've seen him have great matches with Chris Candido. I've seen him tag with Dusty Rhodes against Terry Funk and Chris Candido and have tremendous matches. The guy's a great talent, and everyone always likes to bring up, his bad business practices, which I have been guilty of in the past, because you have to remember, he and I, although we are not blood brothers, we are pretty much legitimate family, and we have scuffles like everyone else, and I love the guy, and I think that, he books cards where, he's just, sometimes gets in over his head with the payroll, but he's gotten so much better with that now, and he just really is a guy who is a student of the game. And speaking of like when Dusty Rhodes died, I called him up on the phone and I had to break the news to him, and and he's crying. We're both on the phone crying because this is the guy that inspired us. We never set out to be these ultra violent, hardcore, crazy wrestlers, but that's just what happened to be our legacy. That's what we were asked to do. And when your boss comes to you and says to you, okay, this is what I need you to do, either you do it or you don't have a job, most likely, you're going to do it. So, we did all those crazy matches, but, again, that doesn't take away, in my opinion, the talent that John Williams, a.k.a. Ian Rotten, has in the ring. Some people have questioned his business tactics, and I just looked at it as, a learning experience, because he was trying to run the best shows that he could in the part of the country that wasn't used to that style of wrestling. So, you can call into question his business practices all you want to, but you can't call into question his heart or his desire or his love for this business. He's really a talented guy.
Now, you guys started off, I guess y'all been together, for most of his career stuff, until, you guys broke up, and then got back together and stuff. But working for GFW down in Texas, you get a lot of exposure on ESPN and stuff. How big of a deal was that when y'all finally won the tag team titles and it's shown on ESPN all around the country? Did your life change after that, or, did it basically stay the same? Were you more recognized when you went out to get gas or groceries or whatever?
Well, the whole thing with Global was, you know, we went down there and on a wing and a prayer. I mean, it was like I was like doing the independent shows here in Maryland and on the East Coast, and oh gosh, I don't want to come across egotistical, but you know, I was the most over guy on every show because, you know, I was the guy that went out there and put on the best show, you know, and it was like, you know, people were starting to take notice, and what happened was Craig Johnson, who was one of the announcers for Global, was from Gaithersburg, and he happened to come to one of our shows, and he like thought I stood out head and shoulders above everyone else, and he told Joe Fedicino, hey, you got to bring this guy in, you know, and you know, I went down for I was there as a part of the original, you know, GWF, and then, you know, they started losing money, of course, as wrestling promotions do, who want to go out and take over the world. But, you know, the second time through, Skandar Akbar was the booker, and I brought Ian along with me, and, you know, was lucky enough to beat the late, great Bobby Duncombe and the big mouth JBL, John Bradshaw Layfield, for the Global Tag Team titles. And it was pretty funny because, you know, they didn't want to lay down and do the job for us, but, you know, they did. You know, I pinned JBL right in the center of the ring in the Sportatorium, and when that happened, you know, it was like sort of indication that, you know, Akbar and all the rest of the guys thought, hey, these guys are good enough to be the tag team champions.